I'm celebrating a giant milestone. I started selling on the Poshmark app this past January of 2019, and I have hit 5 months selling on the app, but more importantly, I have sold over 500 items on the Poshmark app. So I thought today I would take a moment to celebrate that by sharing with you some of my tips for getting more sales or things that I've learned along the way. I'm going to share 5 different things that I've learned along the way, and hopefully you can use those to grow your sales. So let's jump into it. The first thing I want to talk about is offers to likers. So I'm going to call them OTLs from here on out. But OTLs are when somebody likes an item that you have for sale in your closet, and you're then presented the opportunity by Poshmark to send them an offer or a chance to buy that item at a lower rate or a lower cost. The only thing about this that's important to remember is, well, there's a few things. Okay, first, the item or the discount that you're giving has to be 10% less than the original price of it or more. You can do as much as you want, but it has to be at least 10% less than that list price. The second thing to remember is Poshmark requires you to pay some of the buyer's shipping if you do send an offer and they accept. If they counter your offer, then that shipping expectation goes away. But if they just accept the offer, then you are responsible for some of their shipping. So it's either $1.80 or the full free shipping, which I believe is $6.79. So it's up to you on how you want to handle that. For me personally, when I do make offers, I choose the $1.80 option because I don't really deal in a lot of super high-end things where I have the profit margin to give people free shipping all the time. Now, when it comes to when I actually send OTLs out, I used to, for most of these past 5 months, I would send them out when somebody liked something, like basically right away. I would wait like 1 to 2 minutes to give them the opportunity to buy the item at the full price. But if they didn't, I would then send them the offer. And unless I was, busy doing something else or sleeping, I pretty much was glued to my phone sending offers like obsessively throughout the day. What actually made me stop doing that was when I started making my what sold videos for my channel. Now, I started keeping track every week of the amount of items that I was selling, what they were selling for, and how many people actually took me up on the offers. This isn't exactly a complete science because when somebody counters your offer, again, you don't have to pay that shipping charge that Poshmark requires. So I didn't have necessarily an exact count, but for the people who accepted my offers or my OTLs and didn't counter them, I was only having like 5 to 6 of those a week. And in the grand scheme of things, the amount of time I was spending actually sending out offers all day, every day, was so extreme for the payoff that I was getting that I decided that I was going to alternate my strategy. Now, this past month, maybe a little less than a month, I changed my strategy up. So my current strategy is 1 time a day in the evening, usually when I'm laying in bed, relaxing, getting ready to go to sleep, I send out the offers that I've gotten in the likes, that little likes section that they have now in the app. I send out all of the offers in that section 1 time a day in the evening. And it's, I don't know if I'm getting less sales from that or not at this point. I do still get some people taking me up on those offers. So I would say I'm just going to stick with that strategy because it's saving me a lot of time. But that is my strategy right now on the OTLs. The second thing that I've learned is something that I know annoys a ton of people, and it used to really bother me too. And it's a big downside to selling on the Poshmark app, and that is the fact that you have to constantly share your closet. I mean, constantly. I pretty much share my closet from when I wake up till when I go lay down to go to bed at night. And when I slack on that, when I'm not sharing my closet as much, I don't get as many sales. I've started to keep track of my Posh stats. If you go into your Posh stats, it says there's a little section that says, self shares in the last 30 days. And I've started to track how many every morning are in there and how many sales I've made that day. So I'll put in the day before sales and just follow. And there's definitely a correlation there. With the higher self shares I have, the more sales I have, regardless of how much I've actually been listing. So it is really important to self share. I know some of the bigger sellers on Poshmark that I see on Instagram are only sharing their closet 1 to 2 times a day. I know I have almost 600 listings in my closet right now, so it is a big task to be sharing my closet that much, but my sales definitely take a hit when I share my closet less. So that's one of the biggest things I've taken away from all this, is that self-sharing your closet is more important than almost anything else that you can do on the Poshmark app if you're looking to get more sales. So again, my strategy is to basically share constantly. So, it is what it is. There's a lot of different methods you can use to make this easier on yourself. I know a lot of people hire virtual assistants. There are bots out there that I know a lot of people look down on, but it's up to you how you want to, make your closet work for you. Or if you want to just share it yourself. I've had my daughter share it for me. She's 8. So, there's a lot of different ways that you can accomplish that sharing. But the point is that if you want more sales, I have discovered sharing is pretty much key. It's king of the castle. Okay, number 3 thing that I have learned is that for me, listing is also very important. I didn't start getting consistent daily sales until I had over 300 items in my closet. So having that many items, it took a long time, a couple of months for me listing consistently to get there. Now I've doubled that. I'm at about 600 items in my closet and I want to keep growing it. But I have not been as consistent with listing as I have been in the past. I don't know if that's currently hurting my sales or not, but I do list multiple times a week. I'm not consistent though. I don't list, a specific 10 items a day or 20 items a day every single day, 5 to 7 days a week. I just, when I have things to list, I'll sit down and list 10 things or 50 things or 70 things and just go with it. That may not be the best strategy, but that is what I'm currently doing when it comes to listing on Poshmark. So for me, the more important thing than listing, every day or whatever, is the amount of listings that I actually have. So I hit 600, I went over 600, and then I slacked off on my listing a little bit and I dropped below it. And then now I'm creeping my way back up again with the way I've been listing lately. So I'm nearing that 600 mark. I think I have like 595 right now, something. But yes, listing is important, and I'm sure there are a lot of people that say consistently listing is really important. However, I just want to be real here, and I'm not great at being consistent with things like that. So right now, I'm not listing maybe as consistently as I should be, but I am trying to get back into the swing of that. So that's my current strategy right now for listing. The number 4 thing that I've learned in the time on Poshmark that I've had so far is that I'm definitely more of a volume seller than I am a high-end or designer seller. I live right by the Goodwill outlet, and so I like to go there, spend a few hours, and just get like a heaping cart full of things that might sell for $15 or $20 or $25. Sometimes I get lucky and I find things that will sell for, $100 or $80 or $60. But those things are much more rare than getting the giant cart full of stuff that I can normally get when I go. That's just more my style. It's my own preference. I prefer to have 500, 600, 700, 1,000 listings than to have, 100 listings, but all of them be $200 or $300 items. I feel like when I have high-end items, they sit for a long time, and maybe you do get a buyer for them, but it takes them a long time to come around. I have some items right now in my closet that are designer that I got 4 months ago, and I get likes occasionally on them, but just no, takers. I don't know if Poshmark is just not the greatest place to sell like high-end things, but yeah, I prefer to deal in, mall brands and some Anthropologie and things like that rather than super high-end designer stuff. So it's just a personal preference, but I have learned that about myself, so I embrace it and just go with the flow and list a ton of stuff and just accept that I'm going to have more work when it comes to listing, sourcing, and shipping, because I have more that I need to actually put my hands on and work with than if I had less items. But I like to be doing things. I like to be, keeping things fresh and moving things out and turning things over rather than just sitting and waiting on the same items to sell for months and months and months. So again, It's my personal preference, and whatever works for you works for you. Leave me a comment and let me know if you are more of a luxury seller versus a volume seller, and how that's working out for you, because I'm just curious how the other side works. All right, let's move on to my last thing that I've learned, number 5. Okay, number 5 is that I don't share to parties. When I first started, I always made sure that I shared to the evening party. As far as I could tell, doing my research on YouTube and Instagram from other resellers, it seemed like sharing to the parties was kind of a necessity. If you don't do anything else, you need to share your closet to the party every day, and that'll get you a ton of shares and likes and stuff. No, it really didn't for me at all. And so I have given up sharing to all parties. I don't share to parties anymore. Very rarely I'll share to the evening party, just to see, like, okay, am I going to get more activity here? Maybe I do get a few more shares, but I have had hosts picks that never sell. I have had, things that I get a ton of comments or likes on that just sit. It doesn't seem to do any good for me sharing to the party. So to go out of my way and try to fit into these little time blocks of party that, it just, for the fact that I don't get anything in return, just leads me to believe that's kind of a waste of my time. So the biggest takeaways that I've had are, if you want to have more sales, you need to share your closet and list, period. Following people, for me, I don't really follow anybody anymore. I do get followers. I have like 20,000 followers. I've seen a lot of people, on the Reddit subforum and different places talking about how, they have 100,000 followers, but how do I get daily sales? So to me, if Poshmark wants to have this social aspect to their platform and they expect people to engage, there needs to be some kind of incentive for people to, follow their feed, or I don't know. I just feel like right now there's kind of a disconnect between the sales that you get and the social aspect. Everybody participates in the social aspect because everybody that's successful tells them they need to, but it doesn't actually translate into any more sales. Having more followers, having, to share community sharing, and, commenting on new closets and all of these things, I have found that they don't do anything for me. They really don't. It's just a complete waste of my time. So for me, the 2 areas I focus on, again, listing and sharing my closet. I know I've said it like 3 times now. I cannot emphasize to you enough how important sharing your closet is if you want to make sales. I have dropped the amount that I've been sharing just because I let things get in the way, and my sales took a serious hit for it. So I see a direct correlation between sharing your own closet. I believe a lot of the buyers on Poshmark search out what they want. I know when I shop on Poshmark, that's how I shop. I'll look up, Old Navy pixie pants, or, BB Dakota trench coat, or whatever, and I'll put it down by my size, and then I'll start scrolling, or anthro dress, or whatever it is that you want, and I'll scroll through and I'll like things, and see if somebody sends me an offer, or I'll make an offer, or I'll just buy something outright. But my point is, I think that's probably how most people shop. So the fact that you're, spending your time sharing people's stuff in the hopes that they share your stuff, all of that doesn't make sense to me, because it just goes into the feed that nobody shops from. So do yourself a favor, cut the crap, just share your closet and list your stuff. And if you have time, extra time, cross-list your stuff, to other platforms, Mercari, eBay. I think there's a few other ones out there, but those are the ones I'm most familiar with, and expose yourself to a bigger audience. And on those, you can kind of set it and forget it, which is nice. So there you have it. That is what I've learned in my 5 short months on the Poshmark app, where I have sold over 500 items so far. My current strategy, and let me know what your current strategy is below in the comments, or if you have any questions. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified when my next video goes live. And as always, I will see you next time. Bye!